Hello children, welcome all of you to social science. That is geography. Today I will teach you geography. That is the fifth unit. Now children, you know about the forest. Today you know that is a burning problem in the world, that is forests are depleting because man is, he is clearing the forest in order to build railway lines, industries, dams, buildings, etc., etc., roadways and etc. Now, because of these forests and all, the man he knows that forest is very important for his survival. In spite of that, he is clearing the forest. But forest is also a resource. Resource means wealth. In the nature, forest is a very, very important resource. Now, under this forest resources in India, now we are not discussing about the world. In India, the forest resources, how much is there? That is wealth of forest, how much is there? We are going to learn in detail. Now first we learn the meaning and importance of the forest. Now next, the types and distribution of forest in India. Third, conservation of forest. Next, wildlife sanctuaries and national parks in India. Lastly, biosphere reserves of India. Now you know that forest, man is not growing forest. Forest is grown by itself, by nature. In a vast area, if the land is fertile or good, then the plants will by itself it will grow, and with the help of the sunlight, with the help of the rain and the temperature, whatever it is, sunlight, everything, no, forest naturally it will grow. Soil is there, that is a natural resource, that is also, then it will grow. And after 50 or 60 years, completely we can see one forest. So now today forest is very important every day, but meaning and importance of forest we are going to learn today. Now children, a large area of land covered with trees and undergrowth is called forest. They'll ask you a question, one mark question. What is forest? That means you should answer like this. A large area of land covered with trees and undergrowth is called forest. It is generally extensive in commercial value. I'll tell you what is commercial value later. It consists of either natural or planted vegetation. Forests constitute one of the natural resources of India. Now, directly they'll provide a large variety of woods which are used as fuel, timber and industrial raw materials. Forests provide fodder. Fodder means food for livestock, means cattle, animals, and employment opportunity for the people. People, those who are all working in the forest area, that lumbering all, it's a common industry in forest area. Their people also will get job. So, like this, indirectly, forest preserves the physical features, check soil erosion. These are all the advantages of the forest. Again, I'll repeat. Indirectly, forest preserves the physical features, check soil erosion, control floods, and regulate the flow of rivers. Forest prevent desertification. Desertification means if no forest means the soil all will be washed away when the rain falls. Then the soil will become unfertile and it will become desert. So here they are using the word soil. Forest prevent desertification, help to improve soil fertility, make the climate equable, and help to maintain ecological balance. They provide shelter to wildlife. Now let us learn the types of forests. In India, there are variety of forests are there. Children, you may ask me, forest is one only. How can we can say the types of forest? Of course, I'll tell you one small example. Now, girls and boys are there in your section. Girls means all girls are not of the same features, height, weight, and look and all. Differs. Like even boys also. Like that. Forest means according to the climatic condition, weather condition, the forest differs from one place to the other places. Now, that we are going to learn in detail. Now, first let us learn the types of forests. Now, number one, the tropical evergreen forest. Second, the tropical deciduous forest. Number three, scrub forest and grassland. Four, desert vegetation. Fifth, mountain forest. And sixth, mangrove forest. Now, these are all the types of forests found in India. Now, let us study one by one. The tropical evergreen forest. These forests are found in the areas of heavy annual rainfall exceeding 250 centimeter. Now, heavy annual means whole year the rain will fall. Annual means year. Heavy rainfall will fall. It will exceed the limitation of the rainfall. So that is called evergreen. That will be tropical means it will be hot also. It will be rainy also. So here you can see the picture, all green and tall trees. All it will grow like anything to the up to the sky level and very tall because heavy rainfall, and the forest also will be densely grown. Thick forest you can see, and these forests are dense and the trees grow to a great height. Now you can see, the evergreen forest. Evergreen means always it will be green due to rainfall. Second, the tropical deciduous forest. The tropical deciduous forests are dense and the trees grow to a great height. And these forest areas, now here it will get nearly 100 to 200 centimeter medium. They occupy a wide area largely on the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats, including Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. Now, you know that the tree is one character of this, feature of this tree is forest is the trees in these forests shed their leaves during spring and early summer. So before summer, winter season. No, in the between winter and the this summer, the gap, a small brief period is called spring. During this period, all the trees shed their leaves, and all the trees will look bare. And like this is one characteristic of the deciduous forest. And then again, the trees will give birth for new trees, new leaves, buds, flowers, all that. It looks very beautiful like that. And this is called a deciduous forest. And one more thing, the trees in these forests shed their leaves during spring, I told you already, or early summer. Hence, they are also known as monsoon forest. The other name for the tropical deciduous forest is monsoon forest. Now here the important trees are found. Teak, all strong trees we can find. Teak, sal, sandalwood, kusum, kanju, myrobalan, cerise, mango, neem and tamarind. Now one more. Now map here you can see that they are shown in the box type below that the range of forest, how it will grow, amount of forest where and all, how it is there, like that. Now you can see and find out. Next, I'll proceed to the third, scrub forest and grassland. Scrub means what? All short type of trees. It will not grow tall. It will grow here and scattered, and it will grow. And somewhere grass here and there. It may be a long, tall grass or short grass or ground level grass. In grass also variety of grasses are there. Okay, now the scrubs forest and grassland they say. These are found in areas having 60 to 100 centimeter rainfall. That means very minimum rainfall. And the scrub with short coarse grass we can see, thorny trees we can see, and bushes are found and scattered in. These are all found in Kutch and in the fringes of the Thar desert. In India, only one desert is there, you know, that is in the northwest, that is in Rajasthan, that is called Thar desert. And there we can see the scrub and forest grasslands. And mainly these grasslands in Rajasthan found in the eastern side. Next, we can see in Punjab, parts of the Western Ghats and Cardamom Hills. Now, next one, we'll come to the desert vegetation. See, children, here the desert, these are all found in the very, very minimum rainfall area, annual rainfall area. And now, here the rainfall is 10 to 50, 50 centimeters, that much only it will fall. Now, desert means what? Desert is full of sand. Here only sand we can see. Water scarcity will be there, no rainfall because it's the only hot region. Desert is full of sand, not soil. Okay, because these sands have no capacity to hold water for a long time, and it will not hold the roots also. And here, the Thar Desert, including parts of Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and Deccan Plateau, we can see. On account of scanty rainfall, vegetation consists of scattered trees. See here and there, one or two trees you can see, scattered, spread trees and thorny bushes. Jand, khair, kolko, babul, cactil, and khejra trees are found here. Now we'll proceed to the other um, type of forest. That is mountain forest. This mountain forest trees and plants which grow on the slope of the mountain. Slope. You can see, from up top to bottom, slopes will be there. So this is called mountain forest in India. Now in India, they occur in the Himalayas and to a small extent in the Nilgiri hills. The plants and the trees are vary with increasing altitude. That is the level of the sea, height of the mountain area, like that. Now in this mountain forest, the important trees are oak, chestnut, ash, beech, pine, cedar, spruce, fir, deodar, and walnut. Now next one we'll proceed to the mountain mangrove forest. Now mangrove forest, are found in the with marshy areas in river deltas and along the sea coast washed by tides. See here, children, water part they are given. On the bank of these water part, trees will grow very plenty and thickly and closely. They will grow, and they are mainly found in the. I told you already that, and they are mainly found in the deltas of rivers on the eastern coast and in pockets on the western coast of India. The important trees are Rhizopora, canes, screw, pine, palms, sundari, etc. The tree trunks are supported by a number of still like roots which are submerged under the water. You know, they will what is that roots? I'll tell you, stilt like roots. Now they say pendant from trees only, the branches only, the roots, long roots will come, some branches type, and then it will merge in the land. Again, it will form roots under the land, and it will become tight. So you can see some example. You can see in Ramohalli, there is Alada Mara. Then you can see now so many pendants have come. There, yeah, that's one example for this. Now next, now management forest I completed. Now let us see the distribution of forest in India. Now the total forest area of India was about 7.74 lakh kilometers. Then you may ask me, what about the other land? Other lands are occupied by plateaus, plains, and rivers are occupied, buildings, railway tracks, and roads, etc., etc. But here, forest area is only 7.74 lakh kilometers. Okay, I'll repeat, children. Distribution of forest. The total forest area of India was about 7.74 lakh kilometers. It accounted for about 23.6% of the total geographical area of our country. This is much below the 33.3% the recommended by the National Forest Policy Resolution of 1952. Why no? Today we are depleting the forest in order to establish, I told you, roadways, railways, industry, etc., etc., like that. Even it is below the world's average. Our Indian forests are, below the average compared to the world forest. Now next, now what we shall do to grow the forest more? Now measures for the conservation of forest in India. We should conserve the forest. We should protect the forest, children. Now in India, forest play an important role in the national economy of India. Unfortunately, the area under forest has been declining in recent years. I have mentioned already what are the reasons. So, the preservation of destruction, over exploitation of forest, and its management is called conservation of forest. Let me ask you one more question in the exam. What is conservation of forest? So, you should write like this. That is the preservation, sorry, the prevention of destruction, over exploitation of forests, and its management is called conservation of forest. Now let us see now what are the measures undertaken to protect the or conservation of forest in India. Number 1, control of deforestation. Today we should protect the forest. We should avoid cutting or removing the forest. Today, you know that metro lines, railway lines, construction of buildings and dams, industries, apartments, all this. So we want place to construct all this. So we are clearing the forest. So that is called deforestation. So we should control the deforestation and we should encourage the afforestation. Number 1, now over. Number 2, restriction of grazing. Now animals will leave in the village side and all to the hillside or land side to graze. They'll remove all these animals from root. They'll remove the plant while eating and all. So all the plant will be removed. So that's why what we should do. We should not allow the grazing animals to graze. Okay, now next one, third, control of forest fires. Forest fires is natural, children. This is what will happen now. Many branches, it is mingled with one another in the thick forest area. And because due to the wind, what will happen? The branches will rub one to the other continuously. When one to the other, it will be keep on rubbing with heat will be produced. Then that high extent it goes. Then suddenly fire will occur and then it will burn the whole forest. It will spread fast because wind will be there, air, plenty oxygen will be there. Now next it will forest fire will occur. It is very difficult to control the forest fire. Recently, 2 years back in Agarholi and other places, forest fire have taken place. Many they went the helicopter, aeroplane. They this one poured water on. That is nothing, nothing. They even spread air, that carbon dioxide and nothing. Very difficult to control the forest fire, but that is natural. Okay, so that we should control. That means what we can do when the thick forest is grown, then immediately we should small trees we should cut off, so that gap will be there formed between one tree to the other. Even the branches will be spread widely with the distance, so there is less chance of rubbing one for trunk to the other trunk, branch to the other branch. Okay. Now next one, prevention and encroachment of forest. We should not occupy always forest, clearing the forest for, I told you already that construction of various things and all. So that is one thing. And control of forest insects and diseases. These insects, worms, and germs will be there. They will go and live in the trees and they'll eat out. So forest, all the trees also will get diseases. Then it will be spread, epidemic diseases like corona. How it is spread worldwide. Like that, the some insects, worms, and germs, virus. It will also attack, affect the trees. Trees also will be undergo the diseases. It will become inactive. So that's why we should avoid. Often and often we should take care of. Forest department is there separate. They'll go and see to that trees, and then they'll see any tree, one or two trees are infected by any diseases or insects more are there means, they will take action to destroy all that. Recently, that the grasshoppers plenty had come and then it started spreading in aero airport and other part of the world and all. That they took severe action on that to destroy that. That one example, good example now, like that. Now this is the thing, one thing. That's why they should take and spray the medicine often. How they are doing sanitization, the corona, all the areas and the buildings and all like that. Even there also in the forest also, they should take action, to spray the medicine for the plants and trees. The controlling, the sixth point is controlling illegal cutting of trees. That is, some people now, greedy people, they'll go and cut the trees and then they will use for their purpose or exporting purpose, and that is also smuggling purpose, all that. And nowadays, in Karnataka is famous for sandalwood. The sandalwood trees are all, some illegal cutting has taken place, and then they will export to foreign country. That is that they'll do the, the smuggling. Even in wood also they'll do. So these are all forestry department should have an eye on that, and they should take care of that. And now next one, scientific cutting of the trees. That's why forestry department, they should go and see all fully grown tree, and it will not grow further. They should find out. They know scientists are there. Tree scientists are there. They will study that, and if the tree is grown fully and further it will not grow, dead, mean they should cut off. no, the trees, and weeds will grow plenty in the forest. That weeds and all, unwanted creeper type and parthenium, you heard that these are all no unwanted plants. It will not allow other plants to grow, so they should remove and cut off. Then they should see to that. So scientific cutting of the trees, they should see to that. Now, eighth point is legislation to check deforestation. Government should bring, the strict law that no one should cut the trees, and no one should be allowed to inside the trees, and they should check the deforestation. We should grow the trees, we should do afforestation, and we should not deplete the forest. Deforestation should be discouraged, afforestation should be encouraged. Now, that is one thing. Now, 10th point I'll proceed. That is creating the awareness among the people about importance of forest. Now, forest is very, very, very important because they are the rain bank. It will bring rain, and also it will keep the surroundings cool, and also it will, you know, prevent soil erosion, and and this is the storehouse of enormous wealth. So forest, is wealthy place. That's why it is called a very strong resource. So we should protect forest. And today they have started one, introduced one social forestry. That means what? If your land is very vast, left without growing any crops, barren land, unfertile land, so there and all, the forest department, they'll go install the trees with the distance, and till to 3 4 years they'll take care to grow the trees, putting water, and then taking medicine, putting medicine, all that they'll take care. Then after 5 to 6 years, what will happen? They leave off. Then naturally, the rain will come, sun rays is there, soil is there, they'll grow by themselves. And often other checkup they should do. So for that, forestry department is there. And one more thing, the hereafter whatever will grow, that is called the social forestry. Okay, we'll grow the empty land. So forest is very, very important if you want to survive. Now, next one, in the forest, who are apart from the trees, what are the other things are there? That is wildlife. All the animals are there. Wild animals live. That is home, shelter. Forest gives shelter for the wild animals. No. Now today, because of this depleting the forest, all the wild animals now homeless. They have become homeless. Now, what we are doing, we are bringing that wild animals and keeping in the cages, and we are showing to all the people in the zoo this is animal. But naturally, those animals, no, they don't like to live in the cages. They want the freedom. They want to live freely in the nature, in the forest. So, so today, what government is doing, wild animals also very, very important. How we are living on the earth, human beings, we are living on the earth very freely with all the facilities, no, like that. Even the animals have got right to live. Birds also have got right to live. So, what government has done today, wildlife sanctuary refers to, they have started, and national parks they have started, and this is started by government. The wildlife sanctuary refers to, a place meant for providing protection to wildlife. Now you know that example, Banerghatta Park. You will go. You might have visited all, so you know that wild animals are kept there. So they'll feed and they'll take care of those wild animals. Let them live naturally, like that. And next one, national parks they have created. Even Bannerghatta, not only wild sanctuary, even park also. An extensive area which is specially protected to preserve its natural beauty, wildlife, and forests for public recreation and scientific interest is called National Park. National Park, no, it is public recreation, means people can visit. No, it brings money for that because we'll pay and go inside, enter inside. So that, that's income for the government. Public recreation, for fun sake, we'll go, time pass. Now, next one, scientific interest. Some people, they do research on animals as well as the plants. No, trees, all that they'll do. Now, this is one thing over. Now, one more thing is there that is called biosphere. Bio means what? Life. That is sphere. You see, no, the biosphere reserves are a special category of protected area of land or coastal environments. That means what? We should protect all the water, plants, space, plain, and everything we should protect. So everybody should live. No, earth is meant for everybody, not only human beings. But what man is thinking only for his purpose. Greedy, selfish. That is wrong. Every animal, every bird has got right to live on the earth. So here the biosphere, again I'll repeat, reserves are a special category of protected area of land or coastal environment. Now, main objective of this biosphere reserve is, you know, conservation, research, education, and local involvement. We can do research also. We can take any measures to protect all that. Many environmentalists today, they are worrying about the biosphere reservation, you know, because next our generation and the future generation, if they want to live on the earth in the proper way, then the biosphere should be now preserved properly. This is the thing. Now, by this, I'm completing the forest, resources in India. Now, I'll ask you a few questions now I have given. So you referred your book, textbook, and you can answer, children. Number one, what are the forest resources in India? Two, why forest and wildlife resources are very important for us? This is a general question, children. You can write your general own also. They'll give marks. And here, two set is there. Why forest and wildlife? So forest, you write one paragraph. Why forest sources is very important for us. One paragraph you write, small paragraph. You can give your idea also. It is welcome because you are all future generation. You have got new ideas also. Welcome. So you can write. Now next paragraph, you can write wildlife resources. Wildlife also is very important for the nature, in the nature, and for man also it's very much useful. In a direct or indirect way, it is helpful. What do you know about that? That also two paragraphs you can write. Now next one, third one. What is wildlife resource? Give some examples. If you know extra point also, you can give welcome. The examination, we want outer knowledge. If you have any general knowledge about the wild resource and examples also, anything extra point and all, you can write. You be welcome, not unlike science and maths, social science, we welcome with novel ideas, new ideas. We'll give marks. Okay. Now, fourth, how can we protect animals? Now, maybe wild animals also you can take and domestic animal also. You can make two small paragraphs and then you can write your own also. But one thing, no, while explaining or while writing answer, you should use good language, not no ordinary language and some good context that so no pertaining to the geographical terms only you should use. Now, next one, fifth, last question. Do plants count as wildlife? There is one challengeable question here. The plant is as important as wildlife, they're asking. If they ask you, the water is as important as food. If they ask you, which one is important for you? Or else I'll ask you, do the air is important as the water? Which one is important? All are important. How it is important? Like that, you should think, children, analyze. you should analyze, and then afterwards you should answer. So in the public examination, board examination, analyzation is very important. Analyze a question and analyze your points, and then you can write. By this, I will end the fifth unit of geography, that is India forest resources. Now I hope that you all understood my explanation. Okay, now read one time the textbook thoroughly, you will understand. Now this very simple chapter, and now next one I'll come with a new chapter in geography either or history. Now until then, now let us wind up. Until then, take care, and then I'll say bye bye.